We're here at UiPath Together Public Sector Summit with Sreenath Gurrapu, Intelligent Automation Practice Lead, and Viktar Zherdetski, Chief Technology Officer with Anika Systems. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us.
Pleasure being here.
I'd like to start by asking Sreenath, where has automation made a meaningful difference in how the government serves the public?
Sure. So when we started with IRS, one of the agencies, I can start give an example. So we have implemented a procurement bot, which for the Chief Procurement Office within Treasury. So it was one of the trailblazers at that point of time. It was back in 2017. So some of these are around back office where we can automate tasks. So when we stood up this automation, it was the first ever in the federal sector. So there got a lot of visibility, and that's where we were able to showcase the outcomes of the bot, where around 800 executives and contractors across US were able to use this automation in leveraging and getting the productivity and efficiency around Chief Procurement Office, where for the contractor responsibility determination. So Viktar has done some platform work for this automation on our cloud. It was built upon our Azure cloud and deployed. It was one of the first automations.
Right, and the whole idea why we go in platform approach goes in addition to provide the actual automation capabilities, right? We need to make sure that we can rapidly deploy it to production environments, right? So we also build in a reusable platform that helps us to easily deploy the entire RPA suite, right, in the cloud with all the security controls, and that's exactly how we can scale it across different agencies.
Next, I'd like to ask, what do you see driving the growth of automation in government, and how do you see that changing in the year ahead, and why?
Yeah, so I think slowly the government is able to see the outcomes and fruitfulness of RPS, because when I led some of the agencies we got started, they were only looking for RPS. Now, with the help of innovation, they're looking for more and more capabilities within RPA, like add more cognitive services. That way, they can target some of the automations which are complex, but yet can give more outcomes from them. So, yes, so agencies are coming forward. And they are no longer hesitant to see if automation would be really helpful for some of the complex use cases. So they are driving some of the innovation using advanced, like UiPath has this innovation, intelligent automation capability. So that's where, yeah.
Right, and I think it's more of like self-growing ecosystem, really, right? First of all, as customers gain more and more comfortable with the system, they start seeing new opportunities, right? How they can automate their routine processes, day-to-day operations, right, into something that can enable them to do more intelligent work, right, and leave the routine to the robots. And the second aspect is definitely emerging technology, right? As we see new capabilities coming in, that kind of like helps us to support the more advanced use cases.
Yeah.
I'm also interested to ask, how far along would you say agencies are in training employees to use automation to do their jobs more efficiently or do more valuable work?
Yeah, I think I was discussing with Viktar on this. So definitely there are two streams in training employees. One is to drive the automations, like customer driven and customer empowering them with building the automation, as well how you can also support automations from an employee standpoint, like train them, create that awareness, how they can solve the problems by themselves when the bots are in production, right? So we have created some best practices and run books for the customers where we already built automations, and also at the same time empowering them to build automations by themselves using citizen development initiatives. So Viktar can add something to that.
Right, and one of the, I guess, successes we see, right, is when we can enable customers not just go through the training for the technology, right, but bring them some kind of lab environment, right, where they can experiment with their own use cases and try to build something simple. And that's what drives, an excitement, and then kind of like become more interested and start seeing the path how they can automate more and more workloads in their environments.
And lastly, I'd like to hear, how do you see automation continuing to evolve from back office work to more of a mission-centric activity in government, and what will help accelerate that change?
Sure. So I think it kind of flows from everything we discussed already, right? But first of all, the enablement of new technology, right? In like late 2020s, we actually started seeing human parity with the cognitive services, right? Like image recognition, voice recognition. So that enables to bring the automation to more of the real use cases, right, such as human interviews. Right now, we can get the full understanding of language processing and take actions on that automatically. Think about taking action items out of the interviews, or taking automated notes and dispatching your processes based on what you've heard on the meeting. All kinds of different images coming in. Document management systems, right? And kind of like building intelligent workflows for the incoming documents based on document understanding. So there's definitely more and more that takes the real missions. And some of the agencies' missions are actually around processing the incoming requests, right? So that's a great example.
Yeah. So when we started with some of the agencies, we started with back office automations, but eventually with the outcomes and the trust we have built with the customers, they slowly moved to the mission-centric activities, where we actually try to solve the problems for the core business problem on the mission side, right? So that's where we used UiPath as a preferred partner in empowering the customer using automation technologies and emerging technologies. Yeah. So.
Yep. And at the end, the idea is that we can work with professional developers and help democratize technology and enable it for the citizen developers. That's really what brings this mission-ready enablement, right, for the agencies.
Well, gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us here and sharing your observations about automation in government.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it. Yeah.